Okay, there's a tradition in Toastmasters that everybody, all members, get a chance to speak at a meeting, and table topics is one of the ways that Toastmasters achieves this. It gives people who haven't done a prepared speech the opportunity to stand up and say a few words between 1 and 2 minutes on a topic that I'm going to choose. So I have a few prepared topics, topical stuff that I'm going to read out and then select one of the audience to come up and talk between 1 and 2 minutes is the timetable slot. So recently, you've probably all seen the news. Oscars have been announced, the nominations for this year's Oscars. Question is, what act of kindness have you done that you would deserve an Oscar? Cliff.
I'm Toastmaster for the Toastmasters. The question is, what act of kindness have I done in my life to deserve an Oscar? Well, I worked as a psychiatric nurse, and I joined when I was 1965, and I worked there for years and years, and that was very, very demanding life. You were allowed to retire at 55, so it must be quite demanding. I found it very, very demanding. The rewards, not all that good, really. The rewards with the patient are very good, but monetary awards or recognition is, you don't get very much. It has improved over the years, the conditions for the patients, and I was probably not ideal for the job. But I did it because I wanted to do it. It was a course that I managed to undertake, and sometimes looking back, I think I deserved an Oscar for it.
I'm the winner. Okay, a couple have recently won £40 million on the lottery. So my question is, if you won the lottery, what would be the first thing that you went out and bought? And that's just.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just soaking that up. Winning the lottery. It's quite a difficult question. £40,000. So much I could do with it. I could go and get a nice car like Richard's. I could go on a nice holiday of a lifetime. Anywhere in the world I could go. There's so many places for me to choose. And there's so many places that I really want to go to. So what am I going to spend? What's the first thing I'm going to spend this £40,000 on? Oh, there's just so much. I'm just trying to think. I'm just spoilt for choice. Oh, yes. I'm single at the moment. You know, I could go up market with some of the girls now, couldn't I? So that's a big option there. I could end up losing too much of that money on that first spend. So it's my first spend, and I've got to think ahead, because I am quite a cautious person, really. You know, I do worry about security and my pension and what have you. So I would have to give it a lot of thought, and I wouldn't spend too much on that first item. But I would definitely go out and spend it on something in order to celebrate my good fortune. So I would definitely go for something inexpensive, but something that brings a great deal of pleasure to myself. So now that I've thought this serious question through, I've come to the conclusion that I would go out and get 100 grams of sherbet strawberries.
Thanks, Stephen. Very good. Sweet tooth like myself. Yeah, very good. I'm sure you've all heard the talk of the Scottish Parliament discussing the referendum on Scottish independence. So my question is, do you think Scotland should become its own country, and why? And that question goes to Dave Flonley.
Mr. Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters, most distinguished, very welcome guests over there, yes. Do I think Scotland should become an independent country? No, I don't. Definitely not, because we had a union with Scotland for how many years? 300, 400 years? Since 1700 something? Yeah, and I think before then the heads of state were more united, and then the parliaments were united, so it's definitely not been a big country oppressing a little one at all. And I think together, the United Kingdom, all the different nationalities and so on of the United Kingdom, have been far, far more effective than any single one by themselves. Definitely a case of the whole being greater than the sum of the parts. So if they was to split off and become a totally independent country, I think it would diminish everybody in the United Kingdom. And the other point to consider is, would they really become an independent country? I don't think so. They'd just become another region of Europe. So, my opinion, definitely not. Let's stay in the United Kingdom. Mr. Tost.
Popular opinion there, no doubt. Okay, one more question for this evening's topics. The government have been talking about introducing a benefit cap, so families, individuals who claim benefits have a cap on their overall benefits that they get from the government of £26,000. So is this a good thing, or do you see it causing problems? And I'm going to open this up into the floor. So anyone wants to talk about this?
Yeah, Mr. Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters, and very welcome and dear young guests. A benefit cap of 26,000 per annum. Absolutely, because think about this. Think about those families that are earning, that their children and their husbands, sons are going out and they're earning money and they're bringing it into the family and it doesn't achieve £26,000 per annum. How demoralising is that? There was something in the paper the other day, £500 a week, the average earnings, which is 26,000. Why should these people jump on this welfare gravy train and not work? I think it's terrible. It is absolutely terrible. Now, there are cases where people deserve the welfare. They have to, they can't get a job. They're unfortunate, and I agree with all of that. But there are a lot of people, families, generations of families where they're just milking it rotten. They're taking us to the cleaners. Who? Good old great taxpayers like all of us here. It's wrong. Well, all right, some of you. I'm a builder, yes, some of us. It's wrong. I think that benefit cap should be crushed right down to about 15,000 per annum. Recently in the paper there was a family, I won't say what nationality, but the rental was £2,000 a week at a house in North London, and the person actually criticised the government for not allowing them to develop their career and was moaning left, right and centre about the government. And here they were taking £2,000 a week rental for an 8-bedroom house in North London, plus they had 9 children, all with different coloured skin and nationalities. I don't know where they rounded them all up. But back to the original question, yes, cap it at 20,000. Mr. Topics,
Okay, that concludes the topics master this evening. I'll hand you back to